All right, hello everybody. This is a big lesson. All right, so I would say get your thinking caps on and make sure you have your notes because I am going to teach you something that is not in the book that is very important. So settle in. I had a lot of anxiety about today's filming, not just your class, but a lot. And I woke up in the night and the first thing that came to my mind was a verse, and I just felt that it was the Lord directing me. The Lord God will go with you wherever you go, and that was a great comfort to me. So I still did a little tossing and turning because I have a hard time sometimes turning things over, but He is with us in this storm. It's nice weather outside, but this is a storm to our lives, so big disruption. But we press on in His strength. So, pressing on, lesson 107. So, line parallel to a given line. We're going to create a new equation of a line that will be parallel to a given line. And the extra lesson will be to determine a line that's perpendicular. Remember this symbol for perpendicular, okay? Not like this. All right, and then we're also going to do equation of a line with a given slope. So, like I said, settle in, take some notes. Oh, there we go. The bell rings again, but it's not your time to leave. All right, so on page 450, I would highly suggest that you read through that, and it will help you if what I say doesn't make sense. Hopefully it does. So, we want to remember that if lines are parallel, they have the same slope, don't they? All right, so for the first example, it says they give me a point, and then they give me an equation of a line. This one happens to be almost standard form. But what they want me to do is find the equation, okay, for the find equation that goes through this point and is parallel, remember the symbol for parallel, to this. So that means it has the same slope as this. Well, this is not in slope-intercept form, but I can make it in slope-intercept form. So let me do that. Let me solve for y. Okay, I'm scooting the 7 over, I'm subtracting 4x, right? And then I'm going to divide through by 4. By 3, excuse me. 7, yeah. Okay, so the slope that I found is negative 4/3, right? I solved for the y and divided through by 3 and found my slope. So if I'm finding the equation of a line that goes through that point and it's parallel to this, then this is the slope I want to use. Okay, so I'm going to plug into y equals mx plus b. I'll plug this in for my x, this in for my y, and this in for my slope. And I'll have it, right? I'll have my b and then I'll plug it in. All right, so let's do that. Negative 3 for y. The slope I found, the x plus b. All right, so negative 3 equals 4/3 plus b, because I'm multiplying. All right, so I'm going to subtract, okay? So I'm going to turn negative 3 into what? Negative 9/3, right? 3 into 9, all right? Subtracting 4/3. And so b is negative 13/3. So very weird equation, but y equals negative 4/3 x minus 13/3. And like I said before, leave it in proper is fine. Okay, and this is the equation of the line that is parallel to this one, same slope, and goes through that point. All right. Now, if it is perpendicular, we're going to do something different. Okay, let's think about perpendiculars. With perpendicular lines, the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So, this is very important. Okay, perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals of one another. Okay, so if one line has a slope of 2, okay, then a perpendicular line would have a slope of, the opposite of a positive 2 would be negative, and the reciprocal of 2 would be 1/2. All right? They are opposite, so different signs, reciprocals. And when I multiply this and this, I should get -1. All right? If I was checking it. All right, so let me ask you another one. Okay, let's say that my slope is 2/3. Okay, so a parallel line would have the same slope. A perpendicular line slope would be the opposite. So if that's plus, this would be minus, and I would flip it, right? So -3/2. So once I find the slope, I would take the opposite reciprocal and then plug that into y equals mx plus b to find the equation of a line that is perpendicular, all right? So let me take an example really quick and work through it. Okay, so let's say that we have a point 2, -4, and the equation of the line is, we'll just make it easy right now, make it 1/3 x minus 2. All right, and I want a perpendicular line through this point, perpendicular to this line. Okay, so what is the slope that I'm going to use? Not 1/3, but -3/1, which is just -3. Okay, so I would plug in -4 for y equals the slope times the x plus b. Remember, I'm plugging into y equals mx plus b. Plugging in the slope that I found, which is perpendicular to this, and the x and the y. So -4 equals -6 plus b. So b then would be 2. So the equation of my line, -3x plus 2. So this line and this line would be perpendicular to one another. All right, so that's your little extra. Very important that you still do that, okay? All right, let's do, let's check in with example 2. So now I'm on page, actually it's example 3. Where did example 2 go? Okay, I think you can work on example 2. I want you to read that carefully, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead and do example 3 for you. Okay, now this one says, find an equation of the line that passes through here and has this slope. Well, these are pretty simple, aren't they? You're given the slope. You don't have to plug it into the formula. You didn't have to manipulate the equation and find the slope. So yay, these are simple. So y equals mx plus b. Plugging in y, slope, x plus b. So 11 equals -5/7 plus b. Okay, I'm going to make common denominators. So isn't 77/11 equal to, or excuse me, not that, 7 equal to 11. All right, add 5/7 so that I get my b. All right, so b is, boy, that's a weird number. 82/7. Yeah, I guess it can be pretty weird. All right, so our equation is y equals 1/7 x plus 82/7. Okie dokie. Now you have one more example, example 4. Again, I would have you read that carefully, make sure that makes sense to you. You know, you can always FaceTime me if you need some help with this. I'd suggest reading through the lessons well, listening to the tape again if you need to. But hopefully you guys are going to do great with this. So again, I'm going to put the try this or the practice up here. Now for practice B, I want you to do both. I want you to do a perpendicular line and a parallel line. All right, so for B, you're adding a perpendicular line as well. All right, so I'm going to take a pause here. So A, hopefully you have found that pretty easily. For B, the side is the parallel line. Once I found my slope, the opposite reciprocal would be positive 2/3. So I plugged the same point with the perpendicular slope and found that equation as well. All right, I'll be putting C and D up here. Okay, and hopefully you can follow along with these. So what I want you to do today is whatever Ren Web the assignment is, but also on number 6. Okay, you'll be doing number 6. I want you to do that, but I want you to have a part B, and I want a perpendicular line created. as well. Okay, so you know 2 answers, A, and you'll be able to check it with your key that I provided in your packet. And then part B, I'd like you to do a perpendicular line. All right, so please practice that. When you do it, this will be your answer. So please cover this up, all right, and see if you get this answer. So write this down somewhere, and then with a fresh, clean slate, do it, and then check it, okay? All right, have a great day, you guys.